Gaming Memory Lane.
Get ready!
Alright, that table can only mean one thing. Today we're going to be taking a look at a pretty interesting magazine right here. And today we're not doing a Nintendo Power magazine. We're going to be doing a electronic game monthly magazine. An old school EGM magazine from 1997, September 1997. And I figured we'll show this off because I had this magazine for quite a long time. And I figured, oh, you know what? Let's dive right into it and let's take a look at what we have here. And the condition of it, you can definitely tell it's been looked at. You can tell that's a little bent up in the corner right there. If you flip it over, I don't know what that is, but that looks pretty grotesque. It's World Series Baseball 98 advertisement for the Sega Saturn. So that goes to show you how old this magazine is right here. Alright, let's look at the front cover. We have Final Fantasy VII on the front cover. That goes to show you this is definitely a pretty old Game Informer, not a Game Informer, but electronic game monthly magazine. And we have a Tekken 3 on the bottom right here. And basically it says, all secret characters revealed. Now we also have some Mortal Kombat 4 stuff and GoldenEye. Alright, so this, unlike the Nintendo Power, you're going to see some PlayStation, some Sega Saturn stuff. Let's dive right in and let's see what we get. The first thing, what do we get here? What is it? It's a Final Fantasy VII advertisement. Let's see if we can back this up a little bit here, so you guys can see it a little bit better. It's a Final Fantasy VII advertisement for the PlayStation. And we are filming this on a 4K camera, so this will be best viewed on a 4K TV or a 4K monitor. And here we have another advertisement for Nightmare Creatures, and I believe that's a PlayStation game. Yep. And it's an Activision game. Alright, what do we have next? Alright, here's our table of contents. And this is actually not the table of contents. It's, I guess it's all the editors and all that stuff, the corresponders. And we have like a little article right here, Instant Replay. EGM 2, September 1997. It's the Electronic Game Monthly. And I remember seeing these magazines back in the day. I don't think they actually make these anymore. I know the Game Informer still exists. Alright, we have the Fantastic Four PlayStation game right here. And this was pretty much before all the comic book movie craze that came out like in the 2000s. Now what do we have here? We have International Superstar Soccer 64. Made by Konami for the N64. This is a random person's face right here. Look at this. Alright, let's look at what we have here. We have a Electronic Gaming Monthly. Little advertisement right here with Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. And right here they're advertising one of those Mad Catz steering wheels. And I remember having, I don't know if it was a Mad Catz, but I had a steering wheel for the PlayStation. It was really, really bad. It was awful. It was not so good. Let's see if we can turn the brightness down here. Let's see. Alright, I just want to make sure you guys can see this as well as I do. Oh, that's maybe I should just leave it alone. That looks like the natural look of the magazine right there. Maybe I should just leave it there. Let's see. Okay, we'll just leave it like that. That's good enough. And yeah, so I had a steering wheel. I don't think it was the same one as that, but it was pretty bad. Honestly, I don't remember what brand it was, but Mad Catz was quite popular back in the day. I owned quite a few Mad Catz controllers. Some of them were hit or misses. My favorite Mad Catz controller is probably the small miniature GameCube controller. I thought that was a nice little controller. Alright, we have an advertisement for multiple games here, made by Eidos Interactive. Alright, it looks like we have Fighting Force. And I've never seen that Fighting Force label art before. That is interesting. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. And we also have Death Trap Dungeon and Tomb Raider 2. The Fighting Force label art, I'm not familiar with that one. I have a couple of copies of Fighting Force, and I'm not familiar with that label art. Let's zoom in here. And this camera's a little complex, so just bear with me for a second here. Alright, we finally had the table of contents. I mean, that took like 10 pages just to get to that. Usually Nintendo Power is right there, it's right away. Alright, let's take a look at what we have here. The table of contents. Alright, it looks like we have East Kombat 2, Adidas Power Soccer. We have a lot of different things down here on the side. We even have Wolfenstein 3D. I mean, what the hell? That's pretty old. So apparently we're going to see some Wolfenstein 3D in here. What else do we have here? We have a lot of different games scattered over the place. Hercules, that Disney game. Let's dive right in. Let's see what we got here. This almost looks like a Harvest Moon type thing up here, but it's a Final Fantasy. And we got Death Trap Dungeon right here. Some rather inappropriate advertisement right there. So skip that. Can't be showing that on my YouTube channel. I don't want it to get banned. Alright, well, on to the next page. So zoom out here for a second. Alright, right here we have a lot of text. When it comes to gaming magazines, I like a gaming magazine that has a lot of imagery and stuff like that. This one looks like it's a whole lot of text, a whole lot of mumble jumble, talking about various different things. You guys can see it from there. It doesn't look like it's nothing too interesting. This looks like a Pokemon or something right here. Look at this. I'm not sure what that is. Wild Arms. It's a Wild Arms character. Oh, we'll zoom in on that. Also, there's an N64 controller right there. This is Marvin 1, an interactive control pad for the N64, PlayStation, and Sega Saturn. And there's the that creature. Looks like a Wild Arms creature. Looks like a soccer game. Yeah, let's zoom it out. Alright, on to the next page right here. And much like Nintendo Power, we have illustrations created by Electronic Gaming Monthly fans. And that was something that started with Nintendo Power. And these are pretty nice, elaborate introductions right here. Illustrations. Let's go down. For some reason I put introductions, but you know, look at this. It's a nice illustration right there. You got some Street Fighter Disney combination right there. That's pretty crazy. Look at that PlayStation controller. That is a terrible PlayStation controller. I remember actually seeing that back in the day. Alright, let's move it out here. So you can see a lot of like third-party accessories and controllers and stuff in this magazine. Alright, top of the world right here. So I guess this is over in Japan. Let's look at the top games in Japan in 1997. Let's zoom in on that. Let's see what we have here. So number 1 is a PlayStation game. It's Saga Frontier. Number 2 is a Sega Saturn game. I never even heard of that Sega Saturn game before. It's a Doki Usi 2. I could be pronouncing that wrong, but that is number 2. Number 3 is a Tamagotchi game for the Game Boy. Number 4, Final Fantasy Tactics for the PlayStation. Number 5, Armored Core for the PlayStation. You can definitely tell that the PlayStation took over the whole list. There's a ton of good PlayStation games. There is no N64 games on that list, which is pretty crazy. Alright, where is... let me see here. There's a lot of top 5 lists here. We also have a top 10 arcade game list down here at the bottom. It's actually pretty cool. I was trying to see if they had a top 10 list for the United States, but I don't even see that. They have a Japanese list. These are editors' top 5s. These are various other top 5s up here. Console games, I guess this would be it right here. So this is like for the US, I guess Star Fox for the N64 is number 1. Alright, so this is the top 5 or top 10 American games right here for the 97. September of 97, this is a Japanese one, so drastically different. Machine Hunter for the PlayStation. Never actually heard of that game. Look at this. Oh, Herc's Adventure. Now that game I've heard of is actually pretty cool. Some nice 2D sprites. Alright, Trick of the Trade. So I'm guessing this is like a cheat codes, maybe? Okay, Casper the movie. It looks like there's different cheat codes. Go to the top left corner of the screen or the room. Press up, left, L1, R1, and start. So the game should freeze. Okay, yeah, these are cheat codes. Alright. So you got various different cheat codes here. Let's zoom in on these cheat codes so you guys can see them better. You have to like read a paragraph to get these cheat codes working though. So pause the screen, pause the video. You got Dynasty Warriors right there. Alright, we have Dark Rift over here. Hexen. So a lot of PlayStation stuff here. Look at this. What is this over here? What is that? That is a Game Shark. A little article on the Game Shark right there. Okay, let's zoom in out here. It's definitely an interesting magazine. Let's move on to the next page of cheat codes right here. Alright, we got some Sega Saturn stuff right here. Alright. So if you guys want some Dragon Force cheat codes, there we go. We got some good old Dragon Force. That's Twisted Metal 2. NHL Face Off 97, which I don't think anybody's gonna be playing that anymore, but just in case, there you go. NBA Shootout 97. And of course a Hexen on the Sega Saturn. It's like Hexen made his... Hexen showed up twice on this list, and then we got Tomb Raider. What do we have here on the side here? Hercules. Oh, we got Jersey Devil. That game is actually really awesome. I could have sworn that game came out much later than 97. I could be wrong. Here we have Ace Combat 2 for the PlayStation. Advertisement right here. And here we have more tricks and stuff like that. We have all kinds of stuff here. We have Wild Arms. More Hexen stuff. Wolfenstein 3D and the Super Nintendo. I guess that's what they meant for Wolfenstein. This little piece of text right here. That's a lot of cheat codes right there. Look at that. Vector Man for the Sega Genesis. It's nice that they have older consoles on here. Okay, let's zoom it out. Usually on the Nintendo Power you only get like the Game Boy and the N64, maybe Super Nintendo if you're lucky. Alright, here we have the Pandemonium 2 platformer game right here. And it looks like we have more cheat codes over here. So this magazine is loaded with cheat codes, like a ton. And even more cheat codes. Tobo 2. I don't even think that game released over here in North America. So they even have import cheat codes. Like that's a fighting game for the PlayStation. It's pretty interesting. You have Twisted Metal 2 up there on the top. Killer Instinct Gold. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Oh, there's a cheat code for PlayStation Underground. Now that's interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff here. There we have NFL Game Day 98. And a donut. That's a random donut over there. Alright, we have Clay Fighters 63 and 1/3 for the N64. That's actually a pretty cool advertisement. I kind of like that one. Alright, we have 007 GoldenEye. Like they have a whole article strategy on it right here. And then we on the right side we have F1 Pole Position 64. And that looks pretty cool. And then we have James Bond 007. GoldenEye on one side, and then we have Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero on this side, which of course that game is notoriously bad. And then we have the Hercules game on the PlayStation, which is actually a pretty good game. It's actually not a bad game at all. Don't know if you guys remember playing that, but... And is that the Concept PlayStation 3 controller? That's what that looks like. What the hell? The PlayStation 3 Concept controller, just like that. Alright, we have Mortal Kombat 4. That game was definitely pretty fun. And then we have this Power Performance PlayStation controller over here on the side, and I swear it looks like the early concept PlayStation 3 controller that didn't quite make it. Thank God, because it's pretty bad. Alright, we have more Mortal Kombat 4 stuff here on the left side, and then we have Maximum Force on the right side. Looks like a Sega Saturn and a PlayStation game. Rated M for sure. I believe that might be a light gun game or something. Alright, then we have some Tekken 3 movesets right here from Gunjack, Heihachi, and all the other characters. Oh, Mace the Dark Age. Yeah, I'm familiar with that game. Tekken 3, more Tekken 3 stuff. And what is this? I have no idea what they're advertising right here. That's really weird. Wait, it's just... Oh, okay. It's a Jurassic Park game. It's the Lost World. That's that Jurassic Park game. It actually looks pretty good. The graphics are nice on that game, but the game is probably mediocre. It's not the greatest. But the graphics look really good on that game, though. Alright, we have Ace Combat 2, and all of a sudden, the layout of the magazine is not vertical anymore. You have to like turn it horizontal, I guess. It's really weird. I don't know why that happened, and then you turn it and it's back to normal. And we have Hercules, which is a great game on the PlayStation. And then we have one of these tactical RPG games right here. Okay, let's make sure this camera's focused so you guys can see it. More Hercules. If you guys are looking for a Disney platformer on the PlayStation, there you go. You have Dark Rift on the N64. An obscure fighting game. And this magazine has way more pages than what I realized. Look at this. I think we're only like halfway through. Alright, we have the Star Fox 64 right here. Now let's zoom in down here. This is one interesting thing right here that I like. Look at this. Is that a rumble pack? Yeah. I like to use the old little pictures of the rumble pack and the memory cards and all that stuff. I figured you guys might want to see that. Alright, let's lock it in. Alright, F1 Pole Position 64. And I mean, it looks like a generic F1 racing game. I mean, it's... Does anyone remember playing this game? Do you guys like this game? Let me know down below. The last time I played a pole position game was probably on the Atari. Red Asphalt. I do remember that game. I remember the title at least. Alright, well, what do we got here? We got more pole position stuff. It says, the world's #1 automotive authority, car and driver present the toughest challenge in racing history. And this is like a multi-page. I'm guessing that they're talking about the pole position game. Oh no, what is this? Grand Tour Racing 98 for the PlayStation. And that actually looks pretty cool, but I actually never heard of that game. And I do play a lot of racing games. That's weird, I never actually heard of this game before. You can do rally racing, off-road racing, and Indy car racing. Huh. It's weird. And then we have some Final Fantasy stuff right here. So Final Fantasy VII, you get the whole map. You can see the whole map right there. Look at that. Pretty big thing on Final Fantasy VII. It was a huge deal back in the day. It was originally supposed to be on the N64. And then I guess Sony convinced Square Enix to release it on the PlayStation instead. We have Nuclear Strike. It would have been interesting to see if, how it would turn out on the N64. That would have been pretty cool. Alright, and moving right along here, we have, I believe this is Nuclear Strike still. And for some reason, I don't know, this is how I got the magazine. There's a part that's cut out here. This is really weird. This is a Sega Saturn advertisement. And it's just 3 hot games on a single disc. And the afterburner jet is cut out. It's really weird. The only thing I can think of was maybe back in the day, maybe it was, you know, back in the day you would use these magazines, cut things out, and use it for like a school collage or something like that, like an art project. Maybe that's what happened back in the day, I'm not sure. Race Storm for the PlayStation. You got more Final Fantasy VII stuff here. That was really bizarre. I don't know what happened to that magazine, but the same source where I got the Nintendo Power magazines, this magazine came from also. These magazines I bought a couple years ago, and they're all secondhand and from the original source. So I'm guessing that might have been maybe a school collage project. You cut the little something out and then use the sticky glue, the glue stick, and to stick onto a, you know what I mean. Alright, Albert Odyssey for the Sega Saturn. Yeah, it looks like we have more Final Fantasy VII over here on this side. So there's a huge amount of Final Fantasy VII coverage on this magazine. Now this is a Sega Saturn game right here. This is a pretty nice Sega Saturn game. Alright, then we have this game right here, Felony 1179 for the PlayStation. It kind of looks like a, almost like a Grand Theft Auto or a Driver type thing going on here. It looks pretty crazy. And there we have more Final Fantasy VII, huge coverage. So if you guys like Final Fantasy VII, this issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly is actually a pretty big deal for you guys. Final Fantasy VII. We have Caliber 255580, 255580. What is this for? PlayStation. And more Final Fantasy VII coverage, and then we have Dynasty Warriors. And then more Final Fantasy VII coverage right here. So, a ton. A really big ton of Final Fantasy VII coverage, and we have Fighting Force advertisement right here. Pretty crazy looking. It's one of my favorite games on the PlayStation. Alright, so here we have Clock Tower. And Wild 9, my camera actually stopped recording, so we're gonna have to splice this footage together. Anyway. And it looks like we have more. Is that Final? Yeah, this gotta be Final Fantasy. No, that's Clock Tower. Alright, let's look at the that controller right there. That is a crazy looking controller. It's called the Grip. The ASCII Grip, and I guess this is used for role-playing games? I've never seen that controller before, but it looks pretty uncomfortable. Alright, then we also have Tecmo Stackers. It's another game that I'm not quite familiar with. Looks like some sort of Dr. Robotnik Beam Machine ripoff. Alright, we got more Clock Tower, and we have more accessories right here on the side. This looks like, let's look at this. Let's zoom in on this. We got stuff for the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation. That is a crazy looking light gun. Look at this thing. He broke the TV with it. That poor CRT TV got destroyed by a light gun. That is ridiculous. Alright, here we have Tetris Sphere for the N64, and then we have more Clock Tower stuff here on the side. And the Clock Tower is one of those games that, for me personally, it's kind of boring, but when that thing comes out, that is the scariest thing ever. Now we have Nhl Breakaway 98, and back in the 90s there's so many different variations of sports games. It was ridiculous. Tons of NHL games, tons of NFL games, and what a surprise, ton of MLB games as well. And there we have Felony 1179, and that was covered early on in the magazine. We saw some coverage on that game earlier. I guess they're doing a little article on it now. Yeah, it looks like a crazy game. Yeah, what is this? Oh, here's the map layout right here. And that's the downtown area. And what is this? Is this an actual light gun? Yeah. And here we have another light gun. It's called the Gunzi Arcade Action Shooter. And they're advertising Die Hard Trilogy with this. And apparently it works great with that game. And there's another map for that racing game that we just mentioned a second ago. Felony, I think it's 1179. And Real Fishing. I'm surprised they don't have a fishing controller advertised with this game. There's plenty of them. They have the CRT TV there. I love how many CRT TVs are in this magazine. There's a ton of CRT TVs. And we have another NHL game right here. Powerplay 98. And as mentioned, there was a ton of sports games back then. A ton. And sports games on the Saturn, PlayStation, the N64, they're worth like maybe $1, a couple dollars at the most. They're definitely not really valuable games, but some of them are really fun though. And there is another map for that racing game right there. And over here on the side we have various different prices on Sega Saturn games and PlayStation games. Let's zoom in on that for a second. This almost kind of reminds me of like a Funkoland sheet. So for PlayStation, let me see if I can actually read this up close. It's really, even using a camera, zooming in, it's kind of hard to see. Alright, Clock Tower, $44. Jet Moto 2, $46. What is the cheapest game I can buy? What is the game that I can afford right now? Let's see here. This is what I used to do back in the day with the Funkoland ads. So it's like, okay, well, I got a little bit of money for allowance. I want to buy a game. Which game can I actually afford? Let's find out here. Look at this. Final Fantasy VII, $72. I mean, what is happening there? Did that game release at that price or something? Because I thought games were $50 back then. Like $49.99. I guess back then the games costed. There's another one right here. The ASCII Sphere 360, $69. What is the most expensive game? It might be Final Fantasy VII. Alright, let's move on to the Sega Saturn list down here. Yeah, we have everything right here. Look at this. For the Sega Saturn, games are priced pretty well. They're usually in the $40 or $50 range. There's nothing really too crazy. What the heck? What is this? There's a, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but underneath Sega Saturn, it says $11.97, $52. It says WWF Wrestling 3D. Was that like Warzone? Was Warzone supposed to come on the Sega Saturn? It's right there. That is really weird. For $52, which is the appropriate price for a new game. It's like $49.99. So I'm guessing that this flyer right here, that's WWF Warzone, was supposed to come out on the Sega Saturn. I'm guessing that it might have been finished. It probably never came out. That is weird. What else do we have here? There's a ton of stuff here. You guys can actually see everything. They even have computer games. And look at this. Underneath the computer game section, WWF Wrestling 3D comes out December '97. Now, I know that the WrestleMania the arcade game and In Your House came out on the Sega Saturn, but '97, I'm pretty sure that's when Warzone came out. So I guess this magazine's, supposedly, I guess Warzone should have been coming out on the computer and the Sega Saturn. That is weird. Alright, let's zoom out here. Never heard of that before. But now this magazine casts a... let's look at the when In Your House came out real quick. I'm going to look it up real quick. Let's see. Alright, so that definitely can't be WWF In Your House, because that came out in November of '96. And WrestleMania the arcade game came out before that, so that means that this indicates that WWF Warzone should have been coming out on the PC and the Sega Saturn. That is really, really crazy. Alright, MLB '98. And then we have more Final Fantasy VII stuff right here. Looks like a Sears advertisement. Alright, we have the Electronic Gaming Monthly it's like a hotline. I guess you call and you get the news that way, I guess. Latest news? Okay. So I guess if you want to get some news before the magazine came out, you can get all the latest stuff right there. Just call that number. Star Fox 64. There we go. If you like Star Fox 64, there's a huge article on this. And we got Harvest Moon right there. And here we have something that I would be more familiar with. What would look like something like a Funkoland ad right here again. Let's see if we actually have that WWF game on here. Let's see here. Let's zoom in. Right now we're just looking through this list. Alright, so up here they have WWF the arcade game. And they have In Your House for the Sega Saturn. And I'm guessing that one side is the trade-in value and the other side is probably the price that you pay for it. So it looks like let me see here. Okay, we buy, we sell. Okay. So one side's the sell price, one side's the buy price. So if you trade it in, you get like $10, $12. Okay, so WrestleMania the arcade game is going for $25 for the Sega Saturn on here. That's actually pretty cool. This flyer doesn't show that Warzone on here, so that's really weird. So that means that Warzone should have been on the Sega Saturn. That would have been really cool. Alright, you guys like Croc. There you go, there's a Croc poster. Alright, this is next month. You get a little hint on what's happening next month issue. Various different things that they're doing for next month. And there's the end of the magazine right there. That is the Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine for 1997, September 1997. This is the Final Fantasy VII edition right here. Tons of Final Fantasy VII stuff. And a mystery on the PC and the Sega Saturn. The WWF Warzone game, shockingly, was supposed to be released on the Sega Saturn and the PC, according to this magazine. And that never happened, which sucks. That would have been really cool to play on the Sega Saturn. So don't forget to give a thumbs up and comment down below, and to let me know what you think.